Welcome back, YouTube. The last video I made on the Minolta XD11 that I bought and was hoping to bring back from life, or bring back to life, was, well, kind of depressing. I unboxed it, threw some batteries in there, seemed to go, and then it just didn't work after that. And as you can see, I don't know what this camera did in its past life to receive such neglect over the years, but I think it might just be one that I keep for parts. I have read, and I have read specifically on XC11s, that if they haven't been used for a very long time, sometimes you have to leave the batteries in them for a while. Who knows? Maybe the capacitors, I'm sure, are pretty much shot, things like that. But whatever. I will keep this one off to the side, and I'll try it again. If it ever did work, I certainly wouldn't mind using it as a beater camera, because this is probably the worst condition XT11 ever. Um, so yeah, I will set that off to the side. However, it was a little depressing, and I don't think that it did the XT11 justice. So here is a very a fairly nice example of an XT11. It still has the original leather on it, which is almost always peeling away. This one's not too bad. It is very comfortable. It is very comfortable to hold. I had an XT11 probably 10 years ago, and it was the all black version, which is really cool. I would highly recommend finding one of those. But these are the more common, the XT11 in the silver. These are an all metal body. They are very well made cameras. Are they Nikon F2 or F3 quality? Probably not, but they are very solid cameras, and probably one of my favorites to use. They are, the thing I like about Minolta is they are very unique, but a lot of their things just kind of make sense. And, you know, they are a smooth, buttery smooth camera. They they really incorporated electronics. I believe it was the AccuView viewfinder came out in these XD11s. Could be wrong on that, but they are ultra bright. I mean, they are almost like just looking through. It's almost like you're not looking through a focusing screen. They are excellent. By far, were the best viewfinders of the 70s, 80s. Really, really remarkable viewfinders. So these cameras aren't very expensive. You can usually find a good working one, I would say, for around $100. And you can certainly spend a little more if you want like the black version or anything like that. I would definitely recommend it. There is a chance that you're going to end up with one that got drugged through a ditch and maybe thrown a few times. But for the most part, most of them are going to be in good condition like this. I love Minolta. I also shoot Nikon film cameras, and I've shot other film cameras as well, some Canons, old Bronica medium format camera, a little bit, not much. I would like to get back into that. Minoltas always just have probably one of the more pleasant looks. The lenses are very nice. These Roker X lenses are, they're excellent. They're excellent. They give you a very definitive look. I can almost, as I kick my camera, I can almost always tell if uh, a photo was taken with a Minolta with a Roker lens, because they're very definitive looking. The yellows, the reds, they're very unique looking. So if you're a big color person and you're shooting film, this is definitely a route I would look at. You know, are they as rugged as the Nikons? Probably not. But in terms of operation and how smooth they operate, the film advance, the shutter, they are electronic cameras, so you have to keep that in mind. If you open these cameras up, they are an absolute nightmare underneath. Another camera I picked up, trying to think what I bought this one for. The lens. Yes, I bought this one locally. The XG7 was basically a lower end version of the XD11, and as you can see, it's very similar format. However, it came with this 50 millimeter 1.4 lens on it, and I only paid like $25 for it. This, as you can see, broken. This thing came out of a leather bag, which smelled like it had stored some used cigarette butts in it. And the lens was actually in very, very good condition, minus a little dent here, which I can probably get out. So these Minoltas they're excellent. They're a lot of fun. They're pretty affordable to get into. They also have some very nice glass. I would put the Rocore X lenses, which were the most recent lenses with the more modern coatings, things like that. I would put them up against anything from Nikon. In all honesty, they're very nice, and the build quality is probably not quite as good on the lens. You can see like the plastic aperture ring, things like that. They're actually very similar to Nikon in many ways, the focusing ring, things like that. The only difference is these focus and mount normally, like the Canon FD lenses do, and the Minoltas, probably the Olympus, but I don't have a lot of experience with those film cameras. The Nikons are backwards. They mount backwards, they focus backwards, they aperture backwards. These are just very intuitive. As you can see, this camera has a manual mode, aperture priority mode, and then a shutter priority mode. Most of the time, I think most people are probably shooting in aperture priority. The meters in these cameras are very good. They were very good for the time. They are center weighted metering, and they do a very good job. They are I definitely rely on the meters on these. They do a very nice job. But it is also nice to be able to, unlike some of the other electronic film cameras of the late 70s, like the AE1, things like that, which were lower end cameras than this, it's nice to be able to flip this into manual and be able to choose your shutter speeds and everything that you want. So again, last video, a little depressing, hurt my ego a little bit. Thought I could fix the camera while you were all watching by putting some new batteries in it. We'll see how that one does, but we will just push him off to the side for now. And but I did want to make a video following up on that, that these Minolta XD11s are actually very good cameras. There's the XD7 and I believe the XD. Those are the European and the Asian market versions, Japanese market versions, but they are the same camera. Minolta does that with a lot of their cameras. The XE, and then following other versions as well. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole of Minolta changing the name for different markets. So would I recommend the XD11? Absolutely. It's just a pleasant camera to shoot with. It's the opposite mindset, in my opinion, to something like Nikon, which is just rugged and meant to just that's the number one thing, is that it's just extremely well made, and everything is just extremely durable on it. Minolta takes a little bit of a different approach. I'm not saying they're poorly made. They are certainly not. They're still quality cameras, but they definitely put a little more emphasis on the user interface, ease of use, ergonomics, and just overall just a very pleasant shooting experience. So anyway, I hope that's redemption for the Minolta XD11. Sorry for the dumpster camera, but it'll sit on the shelf. Maybe we'll figure something else out what to do with it. So Minolta XD11, great camera.